Yes, you read it right. You will make her your dog, not literally, but you will make her so crazy about you that she will be as good as a dog. But first you have to go slow. How? First we will use way to approach her. Use secret 5 words gain technique. Yes, 5 words. These 5 ordinary words will create an irresistible gravitational pull for women towards you. The phrase is simple. I notice something about you. Unbelievable? Wait for it. I will explain. The answer is because they trigger what psychologists call the spotlight effect, the sudden electric awareness that you are being seen. Not just looked at, but seen. Women move through the world being observed constantly, evaluated, judged, but rarely do they feel truly seen. When you say, I notice something about you, you're telling her that you've been paying attention on a deeper level. You've pierced the veil of her public self and glimpsed something authentic. But here's the critical part, the delivery. Your voice must drop slightly. Your eyes must lock with hers. There must be a pause just long enough for her to feel the weight of your attention. Too quick and it sounds rehearsed. Too slow and it becomes creepy. The perfect timing creates a vacuum of curiosity that she can't help but fill. Now she's leaning in. Now she's wondering, what did he notice? Is it good? Is it bad? Why does his opinion suddenly matter so much? The power has shifted. You're no longer seeking her approval, she's seeking yours. What you say next determines everything. It must be specific. It must be insightful. And above all, it must be true. Something like, you laugh with your whole body, but your eyes stay cautious, like you're holding something back. Feel the impact of that statement. It's not a compliment exactly. It's an observation that suggests depth, that hints at complexity. You're telling her without telling her that you see beyond her surface, that you're attuned to the contradictions that make her human. Her defenses begin to dissolve not because you've flattered her, but because you've recognized her. In a world of shallow interactions, you've offered depth. In a desert of superficial bullshit, you've offered water. Watch her body language change. The slight shift toward you, the unconscious touch of her hair, the softening around her eyes. These are involuntary responses to feeling truly seen. Her pupils dilate, her breathing patterns alter. These subtle changes aren't choices, they're biological responses to psychological stimulation. You've created what therapists call a safe emergency, enough danger to trigger excitement, enough safety to prevent retreat. That sweet spot where attraction blooms. But here's where most men fuck it up. They get a positive response and immediately revert to their old patterns, trying too hard, talking too much, seeking validation. Don't make that mistake. After delivering your observation, fall silent. Let the tension build. Let her fill the space with her response. She might laugh nervously. She might ask how you knew. She might deny it outright. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you've established yourself as someone who pays attention, someone who sees beneath the surface, someone different. The conversation that follows should maintain this thread of depth. Ask questions that others don't ask. What makes you forget to check your phone instead of what do you do? Or when was the last time you felt completely alive instead of where are you from? These questions aren't random. They're precisely calibrated to trigger self-disclosure, the psychological phenomenon where revealing personal information creates intimacy. Each answer she gives deepens the connection, creating a feedback loop of escalating vulnerability. You're not manipulating her. You're creating a space where authentic connection becomes possible, where the masks we all wear begin to slip. As the conversation progresses, maintain steady eye contact. Research shows that prolonged eye contact increases attraction by stimulating the same brain regions activated by physical pleasure. Your gaze is literally intoxicating her brain with dopamine, the neurotransmitter of desire. Touch comes next. Not aggressive, not presumptuous, but deliberate. A light touch on the forearm when making a point. The brief contact of shoulders when laughing. Each touch sends electrical signals through her nervous system, creating subconscious associations between your presence and physical pleasure. This isn't about sex, not yet. It's about creating a gravitational field so powerful that physical intimacy becomes the natural, inevitable next step. By the time you kiss her, her body will have been anticipating it for hours. All of this begins with those 5 words, "I notice something about you." The phrase that signals you're not just another faceless admirer, but someone who sees the real her. The phrase that makes resistance not just difficult, but neurologically impossible. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep, practice saying it. Feel how it reshapes your mouth. Notice how it changes your energy. Imagine her reaction, the widening eyes, the caught breath, the sudden intense focus on your face. This is the power you've always had but never accessed. The ability to create connection through perception, to bypass the rational mind and speak directly to her emotional core, to make her feel what she's always wanted to feel, truly seen. Tomorrow you use it, not as a trick, but as a tool for creating the kind of authentic connection that satisfies both of you. The kind that turns strangers into lovers. The kind that turns night into morning with neither of you noticing the passage of time. The phrase is yours now. Use it wisely. Use it genuinely. And watch as the women you've always wanted become the women who want you back. But there's more to this than just those 5 words. Much more. Because once you've opened that door, once you've made her feel truly seen, you need to understand what happens next. The psychological terrain shifts beneath your feet. You're no longer the hunter, you're the guide, and she's following you into unknown territory. Let me tell you about Alex. 6'2", decent looks, good job. The kind of guy who should be swimming in options. Instead, he was drowning in rejection. Night after night, watching women's interest flicker and die like a flame without oxygen. Then he learned the phrase, "I noticed something about you." Delivered it perfectly to a woman named Sophia at a friend's dinner party. Her eyes widened. She leaned in. The conversation deepened. Numbers were exchanged. Then came the text exchange. Back and forth. Playful at first, then increasingly flat. By the 3rd day, 1-word responses. By the 5th, nothing. Alex was baffled. What happened? I had her. She was interested. What happened was simple. He created an opening, but didn't know how to step through it. He sparked curiosity, but couldn't sustain it. He showed her he could see beneath the surface, then retreated to shallow waters. This is why most men fail. They learn a technique without understanding the psychology behind it. They catch the fish, but don't know how to cook it. So let's go deeper. Once you've delivered that initial phrase, once her defenses have lowered and her curiosity has sparked, you enter what psychologists call the vulnerability loop. This is the exchange of progressively more intimate disclosures that builds trust and deepens connection. Most men break this loop immediately. They reveal too much too soon, dumping their life story and insecurities in her lap like a pile of dirty laundry. Or they reveal nothing at all, maintaining a facade of mystery that eventually reads as emptiness. Both approaches kill attraction dead. The vulnerability loop requires calibration. Each disclosure should be slightly more personal than the last, creating a gradual escalation of intimacy. You share something authentic but not overwhelming. She responds in kind. The dance continues, building trust with each exchange. Try this. After making your initial observation, share something about yourself that's personal but not tragic. I've always been hyper-aware of people's subtle expressions. As a kid, it was almost painful feeling everyone's hidden emotions. Now it's like a superpower. This offers insight into your inner world without exposing raw wounds. Watch how she responds. Does she match your level of disclosure? Does she pull back? Does she push for more? Her reaction tells you everything about how to proceed. The goal isn't to spill your guts or maintain some alpha facade. It's to create authentic connection through measured vulnerability, to show her that you're human, flawed, complex, real, while demonstrating the emotional strength that makes those admissions possible. This balance between vulnerability and strength is what women find irresistible. Not the false bravado of men who never admit weakness. Not the emotional neediness of men who use vulnerability as manipulation, but the quiet confidence of a man who knows himself's strengths and weaknesses alike and isn't afraid to be known. As this vulnerability loop deepens, you'll notice her body language change. The nervous gestures disappear, the artificial laugh fades, the social mask slips. You're no longer talking to her public self, you're communing with her private one. This is where real connection happens. But there's a danger here, the comfort trap. Many men mistake growing comfort for growing attraction. They think that because a woman feels safe with them, she desires them. This is why so many men end up in the friendship zone. They built comfort without building tension. Sexual tension requires contrast, light and shadow, revelation and mystery, safety and danger. Too much safety creates friendship, too much danger creates fear. The sweet spot lies between where she feels secure in your character but uncertain about your intentions. Create this tension deliberately. After a moment of deep connection, pull back slightly. Change the subject. Scan the room. Let her wonder just for a moment if your attention might drift elsewhere. Then return with even more focus than before. This oscillation between presence and absence creates the uncertainty that fuels desire. Your physical presence should mirror this psychological dance. Lean in when making an important point, then straighten up. Let your fingers graze hers when reaching for your drink, then withdraw. Each brief contact promises pleasure, but withholds satisfaction, creating a craving for more. All the while, maintain unwaveringly eye contact. Not the creepy, unblinking stare of a predator, but the warm, focused gaze of a man who is exactly where he wants to be. Research shows that eye contact stimulates the same neural pathways as physical touch. You're literally caressing her brain with your eyes. Women are exquisitely sensitive to micro-expressions, the tiny facial movements that reveal your true feelings. If your words say confidence but your eyes show fear, she'll sense the incongruence immediately. This is why genuine confidence, the kind that comes from self-knowledge rather than self-deception, is essential. As the conversation progresses, watch for signs of deepening attraction. Dilated pupils, flushed cheeks, increased touching of her hair or neck. These unconscious signals tell you that her body is preparing for intimacy, regardless of what her words might say. When these signs appear, it's time to escalate physically, not aggressively, but intentionally. The first touch should be casual and contextual. A light hand on her shoulder when making a point, fingers brushing as you hand her a drink. Each touch creates a precedent for the next, gradually normalizing physical contact between you. Notice her response. Does she reciprocate? Does she find reasons to touch you back? Does she maintain proximity when you move away? These signs tell you she's ready for more direct contact, a hand on the small of her back as you guide her through a crowd, a touch that lingers just a beat longer than necessary. Throughout this progression, maintain verbal intimacy as well. Continue asking questions that others don't ask. What's something you believe that most people don't? When was the last time you felt completely understood? Each question invites her to reveal more of herself, deepening the connection with every answer. But here's the crucial part. Listen to her responses. Really listen. Don't just wait for your turn to speak. Don't scan her words for signs of interest. Absorb what she's saying. Process it. Respond to it authentically. Women can tell the difference between a man who's listening to understand and a man who's listening to respond. Be the former. As the night progresses, create opportunities for isolation. Suggest moving to a quieter corner. Propose a walk to get some air. Each step away from the crowd is a step toward intimacy, both physically and emotionally. In these private moments, lower your voice. Make her lean in to hear you. Share observations and insights that could only come from deep attention. I've noticed how your energy changes when you talk about your work. There's a passion there that lights you up from within. These observations aren't just flattery, they're evidence that you see her more clearly than others do. You right now sitting there wondering why she doesn't call back, why the spark fizzled out, why the magic slipped through your fingers like sand. It's not you. It's the way you're speaking to her. The words you choose, the rhythm you carry, the silence you leave behind. Listen closely. I'm going to teach you how to speak in a way that pulls her in, that makes her lean closer, that makes her heart beat faster without you even touching her. It's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. Imagine this, you say, I noticed something about you. Not rushed, not flat. Each word a step, a beat, a pulse. A pause between words is the space where curiosity grows. It's the silence that screams louder than any shout. Now she's hooked. She's leaning in, trying to catch every syllable, every breath. You don't just talk to her, you orchestrate a symphony of sound and silence, a dance of words and pauses. Here's the secret, the gaps. The spaces between words. They're not mistakes, they're invitations. Invitations for her mind to fill in the blanks, to wonder, to imagine. Try it yourself. Say it out loud. I noticed something about you. Feel the weight of each word, the anticipation in the silence, the power in the pause. This is how you break through the noise. This is how you make her stop scrolling, stop talking, stop thinking about anything else but you. And it's not just that phrase. It's every sentence, every question, every whisper. You control the tempo, you control the tension, you control the story. So next time you're with her, remember, speak slow, speak clear, speak with intention. Let the gaps do the heavy lifting. Let the silence speak louder than your words. Because in those spaces, in those pauses, you become unforgettable. You become irresistible. When you're with her, listen to the silence between your words. Feel how it stretches between you like an invisible thread. Most men rush, filling every gap with noise, drowning her in a flood of words. They're afraid, terrified of that empty space where rejection might live. But you're different now. You understand the power of the pause. Think about the last time someone truly captivated you. Was it the person who vomited words non-stop, or was it the one who spoke with deliberate, measured intention, the one who made you lean in, straining to catch every syllable? That's what you're becoming. A man who understands that attraction lies in the spaces between words, in the tension of the unsaid. Next time you're with her, try this. Make a statement, then stop. Let it hang in the air between you. Watch her eyes, searching yours for more. Feel the weight of her attention, heavy, expectant, hungry. Say something like, "Most people never really see each other." Then silence. Let her mind race to fill that void. Let her wonder what you mean, what you see, who you are. This isn't manipulation. It's communication at its most primal level. The language beneath language. The current that runs deeper than words. I want you to practice this rhythm in every conversation. Start, stop, reveal, withhold, advance, retreat. It's the heartbeat of attraction, the pulse of desire. When she asks you a question, don't answer immediately. Let a beat pass, maybe two. Feel the tension build. Then respond with your eyes first, your words second. What do you do for work, she might ask. 1, 2, 3 seconds of silence. Then, I help people find what they've lost. Even if you're an accountant or a software engineer, reframe your reality in a way that creates curiosity. The magic happens when she tries to solve the puzzle of you. When her mind is churning, working, wondering, that mental engagement translates directly to emotional engagement. But here's the crucial part. While you create these gaps, these spaces of tension, you must remain absolutely comfortable, relaxed, as if the silence is your natural habitat, because it is now. Discomfort with silence reveals insecurity, and nothing kills attraction faster than a man who doesn't trust his own presence. So breathe into those pauses, own them, master them. They are your weapons now, in the battle for her attention. This rhythm applies to physical escalation too. Touch her arm during conversation, then withdraw completely. Create a moment of heat, then cool distance. This contrast sets up a craving in her body, a need to return to that warmth. Let me tell you about Michael, 39 years old, divorced, spent 2 years afraid to approach women. Started using this technique of measured speech, controlled silence. The first night he tried it, he connected with a woman who'd rejected him months earlier. The difference? He wasn't the same desperate, word-vomiting man. He was a presence she wanted to explore. Now, let's talk about eye contact. Most men either stare too intensely or avoid looking altogether. Both extremes communicate weakness. You want to maintain steady, comfortable eye contact about 70% of the time. Look away occasionally, but always return to her eyes with calm certainty. When you look away, do it slowly, deliberately, as if something momentarily caught your interest, but she remains your priority. And when you look back, really see her. Notice the flecks of color in her iris, the slight asymmetry of her features, the micro-expressions that tell you what she's feeling beneath her words. I noticed your eyes change color when you talk about your work, you might say, not as a compliment, but as an observation, a truth she can't deny because you've been paying attention. This combination, measured speech, comfortable silence, and attentive gaze, creates a presence that few women can resist, because it's rare, because it signals a man who isn't desperate for validation, a man who exists in his own reality and is inviting her to join him there. Now, here's another secret. Lower your voice, not artificially, but naturally, by speaking from your chest instead of your throat. A lower vocal tone triggers unconscious associations with authority, safety, and masculinity. Practice this. Put your hand on your chest and feel the vibration when you speak. That resonance should be your baseline. Combined with the measured pace we've discussed, this vocal technique amplifies your presence tenfold. When she speaks, listen with your entire body. Don't just hear her words, absorb her energy. Nod slightly. Tilt your head. Show that her thoughts are landing somewhere real. Most men listen while planning what to say next. You listen as if her words contain the secrets of the universe. This quality of attention is more seductive than any line, any technique, any status symbol you could possibly display. Because what every woman truly wants beneath all the societal programming, beneath all the dating game rules, is to be seen, to be heard, to be understood on a level that surpasses language. That's what you're offering with these techniques. Not manipulation, but connection. Not conquest, but communion. The most authentic form of interaction possible between two human beings. So tonight, as you drift towards sleep, I want you to practice this rhythm. This dance of words and silence. Feel how it changes your energy. Notice how it shifts your presence. Tomorrow you'll speak differently. You'll move differently. You'll engage with the world as a man who understands the power of the pause, the strength in the silence, the magnetism of measured intent. And she will notice. She will respond. She will find herself drawn to you without understanding exactly why. Only that something about you feels different. Something about you feels real. This is your new language. Learn it. Master it. Wield it with respect. And watch as the world of feminine energy opens itself to you in ways you never thought possible. The way you tell a story can make a woman's pulse quicken or her interest die. Most men bulldoze through their stories, rambling without purpose, without rhythm, without tension. They don't understand that storytelling is seduction in its purest form. Let me show you how to speak in a way that makes her forget everyone else in the room. First, the setup. Your voice should start conversational, normal, steady, nothing special. This is your baseline. I was walking home last Tuesday. Simple, unassuming. But then, you drop your volume, just slightly. When I saw something that stopped me cold. Now she's leaning in, physically and mentally. The drop in volume forces her to pay closer attention. Now, the pause. 1 second, 2 seconds. Let the silence stretch. Feel her anticipation building. This is where most men rush, afraid of losing her interest. But you know better. You understand that the gap between your words is where her imagination ignites. Then, you continue, but with a shift in tempo, slightly faster now. It was this old man, sitting alone on a bench, holding a photograph. Each detail dropped like a stone in still water, creating ripples of curiosity. Another pause, longer this time, your eyes holding hers. Let her wonder, let her wait. The discomfort of not knowing creates a psychological itch she needs to scratch. This rhythm, fast then slow, loud then soft, revelation then withholding, mirrors the rhythm of physical intimacy, rise and fall, tension and release. It triggers the same neurological pathways, the same emotional responses. When you master this cadence in conversation, you're essentially teaching her body how it feels to be aroused by you without ever touching her. Think about the best songs you've ever heard. They don't maintain the same volume, the same intensity throughout. They build, they drop, they create moments of anticipation, followed by release. Your voice should do the same. Now let's talk about questions. Most men ask flat, predictable questions that any stranger could ask. What do you do? Where are you from? Do you come here often? Boring, forgettable, weak. Instead, ask questions that create emotional resonance. What's the last thing that made you lose track of? Time? Then silence. Hold the space. Let her think. Show her that you're willing to wait for something real. Or try this. When was the last time you felt completely understood? Notice the pattern. These questions bypass her rational mind and speak directly to her emotional core. They create openings for vulnerability that standard questions never could. But here's the key. When she answers, don't just listen to her words. Listen to the spaces between her words. The slight catch in her voice when she mentions her passion. The almost imperceptible pause before she talks about her family. These are the breadcrumbs that lead to her deepest self. And when you respond, this is crucial. Reference these subtle cues. I noticed you smiled differently just now when you mentioned your sister. This level of attention tells her that you're not just hearing her, you're actually seeing her. Most people move through life feeling invisible. Your attention, your presence, makes her feel seen. And that feeling is more addictive than any drug, any validation, any material thing you could possibly offer her. Now about those silences again. There are different kinds of silence, and each serves a different purpose. The power silence. After making a strong statement or asking a deep question, hold eye contact and say, nothing. This silence says, I'm comfortable enough with myself to exist without constant noise. The listening silence. When she's speaking, your silence is active, nodding slightly, maintaining eye contact, fully present. This silence says, your words matter to me. The tension silence. After touching her arm or moving closer, pull back slightly and create a moment of stillness between you. This silence says, did you feel that too? Master these different silences. Practice them in everyday conversation. Notice how people respond, how they scramble to fill the void, how they reveal themselves in their discomfort with the quiet. But you're comfortable there, in that space between words, in that gap between thoughts. That comfort is power. Let me tell you about James, 27 years old. Always the funny guy, the entertainer, talking non-stop to keep women engaged. Then he learned this technique of strategic silence. On his next date, instead of filling every moment with jokes and stories, he asked her about her greatest fear. Then sat back and waited, really waited. The silence stretched for nearly 15 seconds, an eternity in conversation. Finally, she shared something real, something raw. By the end of the night, she was the one asking for his number. This isn't manipulation. It's creating space for authenticity in a world drowning in bullshit. Remember, nervous energy repels. Calm energy attracts. Your pauses demonstrate confidence. They say, I don't need to fill every second with sound to be worthy of your attention. Now let's talk about physical escalation within this same framework. The principle is identical. Create moments of contact, followed by withdrawal. This establishes a rhythm of anticipation and reward that becomes addictive. Touch her arm briefly during conversation, then pull back. Let a full minute pass before the next contact. Each touch should be slightly more intimate than the last, but always followed by absence. This isn't about being elusive, it's about creating contrast. Heat then cool, presence then distance, just like your speech pattern. What you're doing on a neurological level is triggering her brain's reward system. The unpredictable pattern of contact and withdrawal creates a dopamine spike that predictable, constant contact never could. And all of this, the measured speech, the strategic silences, the rhythm of physical escalation, communicates one essential truth. You are a man who understands restraint. In a world of instant gratification, your ability to hold back, to create tension, to control the pace signals something primally attractive to the feminine energy. Because deep down, beneath social conditioning and dating app culture, what women truly crave is a man who can lead her to the edge of her comfort zone, safely, who can create enough tension to excite her, without overwhelming her, who can make her feel both secure and uncertain at the same time. That delicate balance is the essence of attraction, of desire, of the kind of connection that keeps her awake at night, replaying your words in her mind, feeling the ghost of your touch on her skin. So tonight, as you prepare for sleep, I want you to practice these rhythms. Speak aloud to the empty room. Feel the power of the pause, the weight of the silence, the strength in the restraint. Tomorrow you'll enter the world differently. You'll speak differently. You'll connect differently, and she will notice. She will respond. She will find herself drawn to you without fully understanding why. Only that something about you feels different. Something about you feels true. This is the language of authentic masculine presence. Learn it, practice it, master it, and watch as women respond to you in ways you never thought possible. Now let's talk about your presence, the energy you bring into a room, the way you occupy space. Most men exist like apologies, hunched shoulders, darting eyes, nervous energy that screams, sorry for existing. But you're going to enter every room like you. Belong there, like the air itself is better for having you. Breathe it. This isn't arrogance, it's ownership of self, and it starts with your physical frame. Stand straight, shoulders back, chest open. Feel your feet planted firmly on the ground. Imagine roots extending from your soles deep into the earth, unshakable, immovable, present. When you walk, move slowly, deliberately, like you're walking through water, not rushing, not hurrying. A man who rushes communicates that wherever he is isn't good enough, that he needs to be somewhere else. But you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Right here, right now, fully present. This physical presence creates a gravitational field around you. People feel it when you enter a room. They sense it without understanding why. Women pick up on it instantly. The man who owns his space, who moves with intention, who stands in his power. Now, breathe deep into your belly. Feel it expand. Feel your chest rise. Most men breathe shallow, anxious breaths, but you breathe fully, completely, each inhale fueling your presence, each exhale releasing tension. This breathing pattern actually changes your biochemistry, lowers cortisol, increases testosterone, sharpens focus. Within 3 deep breaths, you become more centered, more powerful, more attractive. Try it now. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Exhale for 6 counts. Feel that. That's what confidence feels like. That's what presence feels like. When you approach her with this energy, this grounded, centered presence, she feels it before you even speak. Her body responds to your body on a level beneath conscious thought. Most men approach women with energy that says, please like me, please validate me, please fill the emptiness inside me. Their need radiates off them like heat, and women sense it. They feel it. They recoil from it. Your energy says something different. I am complete. I am whole. I am offering my presence as a gift. Take it or leave it. This energy is magnetic because it's rare. Think about someone you've met who had this quality. Someone who made you feel like you were the only person in a crowded room. Someone whose attention felt like sunlight on your skin. That's what you're cultivating now. That's who you're becoming. And here's the secret most men never learn. This presence isn't something you turn on when you see an attractive woman. It's a way of being, a constant state. Whether you're talking to the barrister, your boss, or the woman you desire, your presence remains unchanged, steady, consistent, real. Women have finely tuned authenticity detectors. They can sense when you're putting on a show, when you're trying to be someone you're not. But they also sense when you're genuinely comfortable in your own skin, and that comfort is irresistible. Let me tell you about David, 34 years old, average height, average looks. But when David walks into a room, people notice, not because he's loud or flashy, but because he carries himself with quiet certainty. He moves slowly, speaks deliberately, maintains eye contact. His presence says, "I know exactly who I am." And women are drawn to him like moths to flame. You can develop this same presence. It doesn't require good looks, money, or status. It requires only that you become fully comfortable with who you are, with your strengths and your flaws, with your light and your shadow. This self-acceptance radiates outward, creates a field of authenticity that others can feel, can trust, can be attracted to. Now, when you combine this presence with the speech patterns we've discussed, the strategic silences, the measured pace, you become a force of nature, a man whose very existence is an invitation to something deeper, something real. When you talk to her, maintain this presence. Don't lean forward eagerly, don't fidget, don't rush your words. Stand or sit with relaxed confidence. Take up space unapologetically. Let your hands rest comfortably at your sides or on the table, not hidden in pockets, not crossed defensively over your chest. And touch. When you touch her, do it with complete presence, not the nervous, accidental brush of hands, not the tentative, questioning tap on the shoulder, but the deliberate, confident touch of a man who knows his own value. Place your hand on her upper arm while making a point. Let it linger for 1 second, 2 seconds. Feel the warmth of her skin, the slight tension in her muscle. Then remove your hand slowly, deliberately. The message is clear. I choose to touch you now. I choose to withdraw now. Each action, intentional. This quality of touch communicates more than words ever could. It tells her that you're comfortable with physical contact, that you understand boundaries, that you can lead without dominating. And all the while maintain that eye contact we discussed earlier. Not staring, not glaring, but steadily, present. Your gaze should say, "I see you," the real you, not just your body, not just your surface, but the depths of who you are. This combination, physical presence, measured speech, strategic silence, confident touch, and steady gaze, creates an experience of you that is unforgettable, because it speaks to her on every level: intellectual, emotional, physical, even spiritual. Most men operate on just one or two of these levels. The intellectual man who can talk for hours but never connects physically. The physical man who can create attraction but never emotional depth. You're integrating all levels into a complete presence that satisfies her completely. Tonight, before sleep takes you, practice this presence. Feel your feet on the floor, straighten your spine, breathe deeply, speak slowly with purpose. Imagine her before you, responding to your energy, drawn to your certainty. Tomorrow, you'll move through the world differently, you'll interact differently, you'll connect differently, and women will respond differently. Not because you've learned some trick or technique, but because you've become a man who understands the power of presence. This is your birthright. This is your nature. This is who you've always been. Beneath the noise and distraction of a world that taught you to be less than you are. Reclaim it, embody it, live it, and watch as she and every woman you desire responds to the authentic power of your presence. Let's talk about reading her. Not her words, not her obvious signals, but the subtle language of her body, the micro-expressions that flash across her face for less than a second, the unconscious movements that reveal what she's really feeling. Most men are blind to these signals. They hear yes when her body screams no. They miss "I want you" when it's written in her dilated pupils, her flushed cheeks, her slightly parted lips. You're going to become fluent in this silent language. You're going to see what others miss. First, her eyes. When she's interested, her pupils dilate. This is an automatic physiological response she cannot control. In dim light, look for this expansion of her pupils when she looks at you. It's a primal signal of attraction. Next, her feet. Most people control their facial expressions, even their torso position, but the feet don't lie. If her feet are pointed toward you while in a group she's engaged with you, if they point toward the door, she's planning her escape. Watch her feet when someone else approaches. If they stay oriented toward you, you're still her priority. Now, her breathing. When attraction builds, breathing patterns change, becomes slightly faster, slightly shallower. Watch the rise and fall of her chest, not in a creepy way, in an observant way. This change in breathing indicates emotional arousal. Pay attention to clustering. One signal might be coincidence. 3 or 4 signals happening together is a pattern. If she touches her hair, leans toward you, laughs at your comment, and maintains extended eye contact all within 30 seconds, she's showing clear interest. Most men miss these clusters because they're too busy thinking about what to say. Next, let me tell you about mirroring. When someone is connected to you emotionally, they unconsciously mirror your movements. You take a sip of your drink, she takes a sip of hers. You lean back, she leans back. You cross your legs, she crosses hers. This mirroring happens beneath conscious awareness. It's her body saying, "We are in sync." Start a subtle test. Change your position slightly. Wait 30 seconds. If she adjusts to match you, she's tracking you on an unconscious level. She's tuned in. Now let's talk about touch. Not your touch, her touch. Even the most reserved woman will find reasons to touch a man she's attracted to. A light brush while reaching for something. A touch on the arm while making a point. A lingering handshake. These moments of contact are rarely accidental. Most men misinterpret these signals. They either miss them completely or overreact to them. You're going to do neither. You'll notice them, register them, file them away as data points, then continue the conversation as if nothing happened. This restraint creates tension, makes her wonder if you felt what she felt. Listen for changes in her voice. When attraction grows, vocal patterns shift. Her voice might become slightly higher, slightly softer. This change in timbre is an unconscious signal of femininity, of receptivity. Watch for grooming behaviors, adjusting clothing, fixing hair, aligning jewelry. These are preening behaviors, evolutionary signals saying, "I want to look my best for you." Most men miss these entirely or attribute them to feminine vanity. They're actually windows into her level of investment in the interaction. Now the most powerful signal of all, her vulnerability. When a woman shows you a glimpse of her true self, a fear, an insecurity, a hope she doesn't share with just anyone, she's offering you an invitation into her inner world. Most men rush past these moments. You will recognize them, honor them, create space for more of them. This might sound like a personal revelation. I've never told anyone this, or it might be as subtle as a momentary drop in her social mask, a flash of genuine emotion amidst the performance of first impressions. These glimpses are precious. They're the beginning of real connection. When she offers this vulnerability, match it with your own, not by dumping your life story on her, but by sharing something authentic, something real. I understand that feeling. I felt similarly when. This creates a cycle of escalating disclosure that builds trust and deepens attraction. But here's the crucial part: you must truly listen, not just to her words, but to the emotion beneath them. Is there tension in her voice when she mentions her job? Warmth when she talks about her sister? Hesitation when past relationships come up? These emotional undertones tell you more than her words ever will. Most men listen for information. You listen for emotion, for the spaces between the words, for what remains unsaid. This quality of attention creates a powerful experience for her. In a world where most people wait impatiently for their turn to speak, your genuine interest in her inner landscape is rare, valuable, deeply attractive. And here's where most men fail. They rush to fill silences with their own stories, their own experiences. But you ask the follow-up question. You go deeper. What was that like for you? How did that make you feel? What did you learn from that experience? These questions show that you're not just collecting facts about her, you're seeking to understand her essence. This emotional intelligence, this ability to read and respond to her subtle cues, creates a connection that goes beyond physical attraction. It creates a sense that you can see her in a way others cannot, that you understand her in a way others do not, and that feeling is intoxicating. So tonight, as sleep approaches, I want you to practice this awareness. Replay recent interactions in your mind. What signals did you miss? What emotions were hiding beneath the words? What opportunities for deeper connection did you overlook? Tomorrow you'll enter conversations with new eyes, new awareness, new sensitivity to the silent language that surrounds the spoken one, and she will feel the difference. She will respond to the man who sees beyond her words, to the truth of her feelings, the man who reads her signals and responds with precision. This is the art of true connection. Not manipulation, not technique, but genuine understanding of another human being. Master this, and you master the deepest form of attraction possible between two people. Remember, her body never lies. Learn to read its truth, and you'll never misunderstand her. Again, you'll know when to advance and when to retreat, when to speak and when to listen, when to touch and when to wait. This calibration, this exquisite sensitivity to her signals, will make you unlike any man she's ever met. And in that difference lies your power, your magnetism, your ability to create a connection so strong, so real, that no woman will be able to resist. Now, let's talk about something most men completely miss: the silent power of emotional mastery, the ability to remain steady when everyone else is reactive. Think about the last time you felt jealousy burning in your chest, or anger tightening your jaw, or that desperate neediness that makes you check your phone every 2 minutes. These emotions, they hijack your presence. They transform you from the man women desire into the man women avoid. Most men are slaves to their emotional weather. Sunny one moment, stormy the next. Their inner state controlled by external circumstances. She didn't text back, devastation. Another man approached her, jealous rage. She seems distant, anxious spiral. But you're developing something different, something rare, the ability to feel everything without being controlled by anything. This isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about containing them, processing them, mastering them. When jealousy rises, you feel it, you acknowledge it. I'm feeling jealous right now. And then you choose your response, not from the jealousy, but from your center, your core, your truth. This emotional sovereignty is magnetic to women because it signals something primitive and powerful. This man cannot be manipulated. This man cannot be controlled. This man stands firm in the storm of feeling. Most women have experienced men whose emotions rule them. The boyfriend who flies into a rage when she talks to another man. The date who becomes sullen when she mentions an ex. The partner whose mood swings create constant emotional whiplash. You're offering something different. Stability, groundedness. The oak tree that doesn't bend with every wind. Let me share a story about Mark, 31 years old, in a new relationship with a woman he adored. One night at a party, she spent hours talking to another man, laughing, touching his arm, testing Mark's reaction. Most men would have either exploded in jealous confrontation or retreated into hurt silence. Mark did neither. He continued enjoying the party, talking with others, genuinely having a good time, not as a show, not as manipulation, but because he understood a fundamental truth. Her behavior was about her, not about him. Later that night, she asked why he wasn't upset. His response: "I trust you to make your own choices, and I trust myself to be okay, whatever those choices are." 2 weeks later, she told him she'd never felt so secure with any man, so safe, so free. This emotional mastery extends beyond jealousy. It encompasses all feelings that typically derail masculine presence. Rejection. Most men either crumble into insecurity or harden into resentment. You feel the sting, acknowledge it, then release it. This isn't about my worth, it's about compatibility, timing, chemistry. And you move forward, your worth, intact. Desire. Most men become awkward, needy, transparent in their wanting. You feel the heat, the pull, the craving for her body, her attention, her approval. But you don't chase it. You hold it like fire in your palms. Controlled, directed, powerful. This ability to feel deeply without being controlled by those feelings creates a paradox that women find irresistible. You care, but you don't. Need, you desire, but you don't. Grasp, you feel, but you don't react. In practical terms, this means when she tests you, and she will test you, you remain unshaken. If she mentions an ex, you listen with genuine interest rather than threatened ego. If she pulls away slightly, you give her space without desperate pursuit. If she challenges you, you engage thoughtfully rather than defensively. This emotional steadiness communicates more than words ever could. It tells her, "I am a man who knows himself, who trusts himself, who cannot be swayed from his center." And here's the beautiful irony. The less you need her emotional validation, the more she'll want to give it. The less you chase her approval, the more she'll seek yours. This isn't game playing, it's human nature. Think about people you've been attracted to. Weren't they the ones who made you wonder, who kept you slightly uncertain, who didn't need you to complete them, but wanted you to join them? That's what you're becoming, not through manipulation, not through techniques, but through genuine inner mastery. So how do you develop this quality? It starts with awareness, noticing your emotional weather without being controlled by it. When anger rises, name it. I'm feeling angry right now. When insecurity creeps in, acknowledge it. I'm feeling insecure right now. This small gap between feeling and reaction is where your power lies. Next comes breathing. When emotions flood your system, your breathing changes, becomes shallow, rapid. By consciously deepening your breath, you regulate your nervous system. 3 deep breaths can literally change your brain chemistry. Try it now. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. Feel the shift. That's emotional mastery in action. Then, perspective. Most emotional reactions come from stories we tell ourselves. She didn't text back because she's losing interest. She mentioned her ex because she's still in love with him. She's pulling away because I'm not enough. These stories trigger cascades of feeling that have nothing to do with reality. Instead, adopt the perspective of the observer. Interesting that I'm creating this story. I wonder what's actually true. This slight shift moves you from reactivity to curiosity, from emotional slavery to emotional freedom. Finally, response choice. Between stimulus and response lies a space. In that space is your power to choose, your freedom to decide who you will be. Most men surrender this space, reacting automatically, predictably. You're reclaiming it, expanding it, living in it. When practiced consistently, this process becomes natural, automatic, part of who you are. And women sense it immediately. They feel the difference between a man controlled by his emotions and a man who controls his responses. This doesn't mean becoming cold or distant. You still feel everything: desire, jealousy, enthusiasm, disappointment. You simply feel it differently, from a place of power rather than weakness. Tonight, before sleep claims you, review a recent interaction where emotions controlled your response, where you became reactive rather than responsive. Replay it in your mind, but this time imagine maintaining your center, your calm, your power. Feel the difference. That difference is your new normal. Tomorrow you'll face triggers big and small. The driver who cuts you off, the colleague who talks over you, the woman who tests your confidence. In each moment, practice awareness, breathing, perspective, response choice. Feel the emotion, acknowledge it, then choose from your center. This emotional mastery is the foundation of authentic masculine presence. It's what transforms you from a boy who reacts to a man who responds, from someone controlled by circumstances to someone who creates circumstances. And she will notice. She will feel the difference before you speak a single word. She will sense the unshakable center around which your emotions move. And that center, steady, calm, powerful, will draw her to you like gravity itself. Remember, the most attractive force isn't looks or wealth or status. It's the unmistakable presence of a man who has mastered his own inner world. Become that man. Live from that truth, and watch as women respond to the authentic power of your emotional sovereignty. The room is dim. Your breath catches in your throat. The weight of your words hangs like a blade. She's within reach. Your next move could shatter her defenses or deepen the connection. You know what to do. Let's talk about the dark art of psychological anchoring, the way to plant ideas in her mind that bloom into obsession. Most men try to convince you're going to infect her thoughts with your presence. Start with curiosity. I've been thinking about something, you say, your voice low and steady. Something that changes how I see you. She leans in, her eyes narrow. You've triggered the spotlight effect. She's now hyper-aware of every word, every glance. This isn't flattery, it's a challenge. You're not like other women, you continue. Not just in how you look, but in how you move. Like you're constantly negotiating with the world. Pause. Let her process. Let her wonder, what does he see that I don't? This isn't a compliment. It's a diagnosis. A statement of truth that bypasses her rational mind and speaks to her deepest self. She'll deny it. She'll protest. But she'll remember. The key is specificity. I noticed how your hands tense when you talk about your job, like you're gripping the words themselves. She'll laugh nervously. She'll deflect. But the seed is planted. She'll replay your words later, picking apart every syllable. Why did he say that? What does he really see? This is psychological warfare, not dirty tricks. Strategic truth-telling. Your pulse quickens. The air between you thickens. She's trapped in your narrative. Now you escalate. Now we talk about the power of the unsaid, the things you leave out, the shadows you cast. Most men vomit their entire life story into her lap. You're going to starve her. I've got a secret, you whisper, your breath grazing her ear. Something I've never told anyone, ever. She freezes. Her heart stops. She's a junkie for secrets. She'll do anything to get the fix. But you don't give it to her. Not yet. You pull back. You smile. You let her stew in the uncertainty. This is the art of controlled withholding. You're not playing hard to get. You're being hard to get. Later, when she asks, "What was the secret?" you laugh. You're not ready. She'll hate you. She'll crave you. She'll obsess. The room spins. The world narrows. You're the only thing she can see. Your words are a blade. Your silence is a vice. Now we talk about the ritual of escalation, the steps you take to turn curiosity into craving. Start with proximity. Sit closer. Stand taller. Let your arm brush hers. Not accidental, intentional. When she flinches, you pull back. Too much, you ask, your voice dripping with mock concern. She shakes her head. No. You lean in again, closer. This is the dance of approach and retreat. It triggers her reward system. Dopamine spikes. Addiction begins. Then touch. A hand on her shoulder. Light. Casual. Unavoidable. When she doesn't pull away, you withdraw. Let her miss the contact. Let her crave it. This isn't foreplay. It's mind play. The clock ticks. The tension crackles. She's trapped in your web. Now you deliver the final blow. Now we talk about the death of her resistance, the moment she surrenders. You've built the tension. Now you release it. I want you to know something, you say, your voice steady. You're not going to forget me. Ever. She laughs. She rolls her eyes. But you see it, the flicker of doubt, the seed of obsession. You lean in. Your lips brush her ear. I'm not asking for your number. I'm taking it. She hesitates. You wait. The silence eats her alive. Finally, she hands it over. Why? You smile. Because I'm not done with you yet. The room fades. The world resets. She's yours now. But the game never ends. This is the art of psychological seduction. Not tricks, not lies. Truth. You're not convincing her. You're revealing her. You're not chasing her. You're haunting her. And when she finally surrenders, she'll tell herself she chose you. But you know the truth. You infiltrated her mind. The darkness closes in. The battle is won. But the war never ends. You're always on the offensive, always in control. This is the end. But for her, it's just the beginning. And this is how, kids, you will tame her completely. Do subscribe to the channel for more.